And we've been bringing team coverage throughout the weekend. I know Kendra's been here all weekend long tracking this storm, and Tori, we just got a new update as well on Isaias.
Yeah, we want to head straight to our chief meteorologist now with that latest track, Kendra.
Yeah, and not a whole lot has changed in the thinking with this. It's still a strong tropical storm, but it's going through kind of a reformation phase right now where it could end up getting a little bit stronger as we get closer to the coast. Right now, landfall most likely right up along the North-South Carolina border. Wind at 70 miles per hour with Isaias currently, and it's moving north-northeast at 16 miles per hour. And you can see Myrtle Beach getting some light to moderate rain now. Charleston has been seeing the heavy downpours, and we continue to see that at least over the next few hours, which could linger and cause flooding issues along the low country. Good news is that high tide will be around 9 p.m. and the storm should be past there at that point, but it will likely be somewhere close to Myrtle Beach between about 9 p.m. and midnight, and then inland in North Carolina by 2 a.m. as a tropical storm. And then it'll move toward areas like New York City. Again, New York gets impacted by a tropical storm. 65-mile-per-hour winds around 2 p.m. tomorrow. Here's a look at what it's like out there. Gusts are now to 32 miles per hour in Charleston. This is nothing terrible. In fact, you get this kind of thing on the regular along the coast, but it's going to get worse as we go through time, especially along Myrtle Beach. We're seeing gusts at 25 miles per hour, and we'll be talking to Carrie down there in just a minute. Now, here's our local radar. I want to get to that before we talk any more about the tropics, because we have some very heavy rain pushing into the western part of our region, and especially Oconee County, Pickens County getting some of the worst of it. We've seen some steady rain coming down around Spartanburg County over toward Gaffney, but really the worst of the weather has been around Clemson. It's closing in on Clemson, in fact, right now, and around Oakway getting some extremely heavy rain. The good news is that at least it's moving, and we're not seeing it sit there and set up causing flooding issues just yet, but that is not something to rule out but before later on tonight. Heavy rain moving through northeast Georgia, and you can see a new thunderstorm has developed around Anderson. So we'll stop this quick and put a storm track on really the strongest part of this line as it continues to move in. Puts it into Clemson just in the next couple of minutes, and then areas like Homeland Park and Anderson toward 5:30 if it holds together. Of course, along the coast, we're going to be watching for some dramatic impacts as we're going to see the high tide develop around 9 p.m. and that's going to be as it passes moving away from Charleston. So likely that's going to spare the low country from some of the worst of the flooding, but we could see some significant surge around the Myrtle Beach area, meaning that water would rise. It's that wind that pushes up that wall of water, and that could encroach on some homes around the coast. So here's a look at those tropical storm warnings. They go all the way up the eastern seaboard, but we do have a hurricane watch, and that includes Horry County and extending up into North Carolina, that small area near the North-South Carolina border. That's where we're watching for the potential for at least brief hurricane conditions as we go into later on tonight. I'll have much more on what we can expect locally and more checks of radar coming up in just a few minutes.